Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we about to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and then talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
Yo. I don't know what you expect to hear today, but I'm gonna just be up front. It's about to get this whole room about to be set on fire right now. Like, we going scorched earth in this joint. Welcome to the Post Podium Podcast. I am your co-host Aramis. I have been angry all day, bro.
Now, before you even do that, what you have to say? What do you say?
No, I can't even say it.
Oh, you can say it.
No. This is right
the
now.
The house of the all truth.
No, right now this is the home of the all truth and all the sodium in the world.
It ain't sodium.
In the world.
It ain't sodium.
I almost started the show off.
It
with
ain't
the cuss
sodium
word.
if it's true.
Oh, what? Nah.
Is this thing on?
Nah, because I'm taking every opportunity.
It's about to be. I'm not. I'm being objective.
It's about to be. You did get it off. You were right.
It's objective and it's true. Therefore, no salt. If I'm salty, somebody disprove anything I say today. Anyway, this key.
Right. Just gloss right over that one. I don't even remember what the score was, but
37-34 overtime loss.
Remember when I asked you that question of would you take a 52-48 loss if it meant that the offense played great?
Yep.
I take it back. I did not think that a high-scoring game like that could make me this upset. I envisioned the 52-48 game, one where, you know, the Bills are just trying to come back the whole game and we look like the team that's supposed to lose the game. I didn't expect to go into this game looking like the team that was supposed to win it. And for that to be chewed up by the by the jaws of Sean McDermott, it just
chewed up by the culture. Chewed up by the culture. It's not even, it's not even.
It's tradition. It's not even culture anymore. It's tradition, bro. It is every single defensive-minded head coach's wet dream is to run a game the way that Sean McDermott likes to run games and game plans and have it work out. Like they when they go home at night and they lay next to their wives and don't touch their wives, this is what they dream about, bro. This is what wets the sheets for them in the middle of the night. Like I don't know of any other way to explain it, but it right, exactly. But to me, this game has to be the biggest indictment of who Sean McDermott is and who he has been as a coach. And the only thing that has saved him all these years, these 6 years of mediocre decision-making from the head coach position and from the GM position, because let's face it, Brandon Beane is just a mouthpiece for Sean McDermott. We've had to deal with this, but it's been covered up by Brian Daboll, Leslie Frazier, Chad Hall, and some of the other assistants that were on the team that decided to leave. Like, nobody decided to ask questions.
Let me just put this out there, and this is what I want to start with. You're using the wrong C's. Complimentary football.
I'm gonna need you to stop talking so calmly.
Complimentary football is not championship football.
Yo.
Now, let me ask you. No, hold on a second. Before I go further, how do you know what championship football is? You've never been there before.
Well, he has. He's been to a Super Bowl before.
I don't care if you've been there before. He ain't win. He ain't got no jewelry.
Well, I mean, that's true. He's got an NFC championship.
Now, this is the thing. When he talks about bringing in Latavius Murray's and Von Miller's and stuff like that, it's because they want it. Mm-hmm. They have the jewelry. Mm-hmm. They know what it takes to get there. I don't really want to hear about that no more, because you don't know what it takes to get to the mountaintop.
Right.
Well, you've seen it over and over and over again.
Right.
Well, you've seen your championship talk? When you seen your iteration of what it takes to do what you want to get done, which I don't even know what you want to get done anymore. We have seen your culture destroy a 27-year-old, 26-year-old quarterback.
Yep.
And just 2 days, was it two games ago? Yo, I'm effing back, yo. I feel like I'm effing back. And then look at him yesterday. Looked like he never left the Broncos game. Looked like he never left. Looked like he never left any of those games we lost. Why? Because after 419 yards and 4 touchdowns, you walk off that field with a big L spattered on your face.
Yep.
What else can you do? Oh, let's blame Steph Diggs, the guy that's carried us for the last 3 years.
Who blamed him?
Somebody, I'm sure, because he dropped, 2 passes in the last 2 games. Let's blame Steph Diggs, the guy that's been carrying us, who has never had us, he's never slumped for us. Let's blame, I don't know what. We're going to blame Deontay Hardy? We're going to blame.
You can't blame him for this one. He was benched.
Why was he benched? For Isabella, who got 1 kick return for 25 yards.
Yeah, I mean, that's better than what Hardy's been doing.
Barely.
I mean,
barely.
Listen. This
is the kick, because if you realize who was returning kicks yesterday.
Isabella.
Who else was back there returning all the kicks?
Oh, Shakir. So you bring a guy from the practice squad to do a job he's not even capable of doing for the whole game. And you look me in the eye and tell me that this is going to win it. No, my boy. Your time's over. This is a guy that is literally in it. He's in the spins of fear for losing his job. And every decision that he's been making to this point this season has been based off of emotion. You can't tell me that Ken Dorsey deserved to lose his job when he did. If anything, he deserved to lose it much earlier in the season.
Now,
when you're putting together the body of work from last year and this year.
You want to know why I'm speaking so calmly? Look at my notes from yesterday. If you read number 1, number 2, this is where I get it all out. What the F coach on any iteration of his staff has a ring? Rick Dennison had a ring with Denver.
Yeah.
Name somebody else. I shall wait. Dable as what? A defensive assistant. He went along for the ride. Mm-hmm. I shall wait. You bring this guy in. Even Deion Sanders, when he went to Colorado, brought in guys that have done it before. Yep. He just hired Warren Sapp for his D-line. Mm-hmm. Guys that have done it on a high level. But this bonehead keeps banging his head up against the wall, and nothing ever changes.
When you want it to be about you and you alone, that's what it looks like.
You want some stats?
Let's go.
24-27 on games determined by 7 points or less. 10 and 11. I'm sorry, 24 and 27. And 10 and 11 on games determined by 3 or less. They're 3 and 4 before the bye. They have not lost a game after the bye. So they go into the bye almost assuredly they're going to lose. And any game where we're losing, if the game is under 7 points, we're probably going to lose that too. Mm-hmm. But this is the guy that has the keys to the Lambo, and you go ahead and drive. You go ahead and put your 86 fuel in your Lambo and see how far you go.
Just put diesel in there. Why even bother with the 80 with the 89?
Because you know 89, you go to 80. What's the crap you went? 87, 87.
Oh,
what
87 is the
87. Yeah, that's what you put in the Lambo and see how far you get.
I mean, okay. Are we ready to be done with defensive head coaches? Like, are we at that point where
that's so far down on my list? I told you could have that part. Because I'm not. I don't care. I'm done with this defensive head coach. I don't care what ilk they're from. You can have that one.
Okay. let me see if I can put this at the top of your list. Okay.
If you can, you're a wizard. You're a wizard.
I ran some numbers. Okay.
Because I got 7 pages of things on top of my list.
All of the defensive head coaches, I'm going to read you their current record as of week 12, and I'm going to read you their quarterback. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sean McDermott is 6'6".
I'm 6'6" too.
6 and 6. Sorry.
There you go.
He's got Josh Allen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Bowles is 4-7. He's got Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. Okay. DeMeco Ryans has C.J. Stroud. They're 6-5. Mm-hmm. Mike Tomlin 7-4. Kenny Pickett Okay. Robert Saleh, 4-7. Tom Boyle. Matt Eberflus, 3-8. Justin Fields. Jonathan Gannon for the Cardinals, 2-10. Kyler Murray. Kind of just got Kyler Murray back in the last 3 games. So
I can't even because you got Tom, you got Tim Boyle for Saleh. So I mean, they both can get it.
Okay,
they can both get it.
Dennis Allen for the Saints has Derek Carr. Ron Rivera is 4-8, has Sam Howell. Bill Belichick, 2-9, Mac Jones, and whoever the other guy, Bailey Zappi. Brandon Staley, 4-7, he's got Justin Herbert, and Mike Vrabel, 4-7, he's got Will Levis. Now, the combined record of all these defensive head coaches, there's 12 of them in the entire NFL right now as we speak. As of week 12, their total record is 51-84. The only 2 teams that have a winning record with defensive head coaches right now are the Steelers, who have benefited from a weak schedule, and the Houston Texans, who are surprising everybody in the league because there's no tape on their quarterback or their offensive coordinator for that matter. Okay? Now, my point is this, and you and I kind of texted about this a little bit too. When you're looking at what the analytics tell you about the decisions that you need to make as an owner when it comes to the staff you put in place, if you are not able to see these numbers and combine them with all of the other numbers that are damning towards defensive head coaches, and then draw the conclusion from there that your defensive-minded head coach, who has now costed you at least 6 games in which you were winning in the last 2 minutes and gave up enough plays in order for that team to score and get ahead of you, and then not be able to win the game after that, either because you are deficient in your play calling as a coach, or you're deficient in your game management as far as, clock management, timeouts and whatnot, like last night.
All the above.
You end up with situations like this, where you have now, people aren't really getting the gravity of this season going forward. Everybody is so ready to just say, well, and Jeremy White freaking said it again on the daggone radio show this morning, who are you going to hire if you fire Sean McDermott? Who the F cares who I'm going to hire if I fire Sean McDermott? Sean McDermott, the point needs to be right now, Sean McDermott is not enough.
Nate Geary said last night on his show, I don't know if you listened to it, but he said some of the throws that were open and orchestrated, he could throw. I think Joe said to what you're talking about, I think he rebutted a high school coach could outcoach McDermott. A high school coach. Now, not to go from your point, but last night I was called a hater.
I saw that.
I was called a hater. You know what, guys, and I'm going to tell you this. We want to grow this family. We want to grow this portfolio. I don't care about monetary. I don't care about subscribers. I don't care. I want to grow this family, and I want you guys to follow me on Twitter, okay? Follow me on Twitter. I tweeted way more heavily than I planned I was going to tweet, or X, or whatever I did. I lost my mind last night. I probably went ham and tagged Bill's Mafia. I did. Man, I was atting Sal Capaccio. I added WG. I was going in.
Oh, man.
I was going in. And to the point where on the Facebook group, I said, guys, I can't do both. Just follow me on Twitter.
Yeah.
But he said, what did he say? I said, okay, you keep that second best coach narrative going if you want. I choose not to. This is not a defensive head coach problem. This is a McDermott problem. And that's not where I wanted to go with you, but I ran numbers. Technically, he's the best coach we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Technically.
Right.
But who are we going against? Chuck Knox, Lou Saban, Wade Phillips, Meyer Levy. Those are the only 4 other names that are worthy of talking about this whole thing.
1986, 1962, and 1978. Old school, traditional head coaches.
That nobody who is arguing with me has ever seen before because you're not old enough.
Correct.
So calm down. Calm down. You guys are afraid of what's on the other side of the hill. But I can tell you right now, you can keep pushing this car up this one side of the hill, but you ain't never going to go down. You never going to go down with this coach. He going to get you to the top. The car going to roll right back on top of you. If you're content with that, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Go. You've seen too much. We have a $258 million quarterback. $258. That means you have a franchise quarterback. Mm-hmm. You got a top 3 wide receiver. You had a defense that for the span of Fraser's tenure here, what would they been?
The highest they were is fourth, and they never went below 10th except for 2020. Correct. In which they were 12th or something like that.
2020, we were scoring out of our minds. What do you think the defense is going to do?
Right. It didn't matter.
Right. We were 13-3 that season.
Yep.
But this is what you guys want. You guys want to hide behind the cloak of Sean McDermott is the best coach that you have had since Marv Levy. Once again, Wade Phillips. Let's look at the names that aren't on here. Mike Mularkey. Is this thing on? Because it's about to be Ryan.
Right.
Doug Marrone, who quit on the team when the owner died.
Yep.
Who else? Dick Geron, Chan Gailey. Mm-hmm. Wow, low-hanging fruit. If he wasn't the second best out of that group, he should have been gone.
Exactly.
And Nate Geary said to my point last night, and I want to come back to what you were saying, but I told you I wasn't going to rant. But
do your thing, bro.
Nate Geary said, last night that this team, as you're looking at, is just going to crush your heart over and over and over and over and over again. I don't know where else to go with you guys. I mean, the ones that are watching this show here, you already know. You already know. But this game takes me back to a time in 2003. I told this story already. September 28th at 4 o'clock. Eagles, E-A-G-L-E, in rural Pennsylvania. That's when I became a diehard crybaby-ass Bills fan. That's when. And yesterday took me right back to that 19-year-old kid. Because the same thing happened again. A game we had. Mm-hmm. All I needed was Brian Westbrook.
This was a drought Patriots game, to me. This is what triggered me. This was the Leotis McKelvin game. This was, I mean, you name it. Tre'Davious White getting slammed into the turf, and that's Sean McDermott era. I mean, there's a million different games like this that the Bills have played against the Patriots where the fans were all over. The refs were all over you. You played a great game. You played an almost perfect game, and it still wasn't enough. Why? Because you had a head coach that is too busy trying to outthink himself and prove that he's smarter than the coach across the way from him, rather than to just do the easy thing and do what wins games. You have a unicorn as a quarterback, and you mean to tell me that you can't trust him with 20 seconds on the clock and one timeout? I mean, they even mentioned it this morning on the radio show last year, the Thanksgiving Day game against the Lions. He did it with 23 seconds and one timeout. Mm-hmm. So it's not like it's never been done. The Bills have, and I want to bring this up too. When Dayball was here, the reason we didn't harp on this stuff this much is because oftentimes the Bills were coming from behind in the fourth quarter. The Bills were that team that you didn't want to have the ball with 2 minutes left to go in the game because they were going to score and beat you, right? That's not the case anymore. Why? Because Sean McDermott does whatever it takes to kill enough clock once the ball comes to us, that we end up being the ones that give up the ball with 2 minutes left in the game.
I tried to end the game at the end of the game. I tried to end it with icing.
You couldn't even do that right.
Who ices a pro kicker?
Bro, not even that. You couldn't even on the scoring play when you went to score that touchdown. You couldn't even run enough time off the clock. You mean to tell me you're at the 10-yard line? And you couldn't run some plays, you couldn't tell your offensive coordinator, listen, we're going for it on fourth down, no matter what. Whether it's kicking a field goal from the 1-yard line, depending on the coverage we see, we may call a timeout and just kick the field goal and be done with it. But at least at that point, we need to have left 30, maybe 40 seconds on the clock for this Eagles team and no more. But
Jason,
instead, you gave them 2 minutes.
You got Jason Kelsey giving you the game. You look to your left, you look to your right. You see Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
You see Josh Allen. You see even Gabe Davis, who had 100 yards receiving. You see James Cook. You see Khalil Shakir. And you mean to tell me you didn't say, okay, let them tie it up. We're going to take these 2 timeouts and get 40 yards and kick a field goal. We got Tyler Bass with one of the stronger legs in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have enough testicular fortitude to say, you know what? I'm going to save this. If he makes it, he makes it. It's a 60-yarder in pouring rain. Pouring rain. In November. It's cold. And you decided, I'm going to try to ice this dude. After 2 false starts, the clock is stopped. What are you calling timeout for? But instead, you want to call because I was going to end the game. No, you weren't. It's left a chance whether you call a timeout or not. You just neutered your offense. The offense that you have an interim offensive court. We saw this already with Dorsey. We saw this already. If that was your boy, and he set him up the field, I thought about it. Last year, you have Aaron Cromer. Why don't you have a run game coordinator? Last year, you had the same Joe Brady, who was a pass game coordinator with Joe Burrow,
right,
with Justin Jefferson.
Right.
Why is he not your pass game coordinator for your rookie offensive coordinator with your unicorn quarterback?
The year McDermott went to the Super Bowl, that's exactly what he had on the offensive side. They had 2 coordinators, 1 run game guy and 1 pass game guy. That's it. They did the same exact thing, and Sean McDermott was a part of that with the Carolina Panthers.
Sean McVay won a Super Bowl doing that.
Yep.
But no, I'm going to go ahead and put all the money on my side, put all the coaches on my side, and then screw the offensive coordinator. Dorsey got a raw deal, and he. This is how masterful McDermott is. He talked Josh into thinking this was a good idea.
Yep. He got Josh to come out and endorse it so that it didn't look like this was a Sean McDermott decision.
Yep.
It looked as though this was being done to make Josh comfortable.
Yep. And Josh believed it, and that's why Josh sitting there bewildered on the sideline. What happened?
Yeah. You
just watched him become a boy, from a boy to a man.
Did you see what Josh said in the post game? When he was talking about does he still have confidence in the team, whatever. He specifically said, and Josh is no idiot. Mm-hmm. He specifically said, I have all the confidence in the world in those guys in the locker room. Mm-hmm. Those men in the locker room. He didn't say coaches. He said the guys in the locker room.
Yep.
Don't no coaches be hanging out in the locker room now. He rocking with his teammates. Yep. He ain't rocking with the coaches. And you know that's exactly what he was thinking when he put his head down like that and held his helmet and held his face mask at the end of that game. He knew this is the same old song. This is 13 seconds all over again, and my head coach just gave it up, and guess what? He going to get away with it again.
That's hilarious. I text my man, this is 13 seconds, and then you text me right when I text him, and I had to – but the funny thing is I had tweeted out before that, and I think I copied and sent you in a text. This is going to come to our defense. This is going to come down to our defense. Yeah. And I knew when I said that what I was saying. I knew exactly what I was saying when I said that.
They're going to lose it on the final
drive. They're going to lose it. They're going to lose it. They're going to fumble it.
Right.
Because this is, hey, if you listen between the tea leaves, what have they all said? McDermott's DNA. McDermott's philosophy. He's timid. Look at the offenses has been run. Timid. Yeah. Look at the defense has been run. In higher person situations, timid. Now let's take away those 30 sacks that they got in those 3 games. How many sacks do they really have? This defense is a farce.
Yep.
It's a farce, okay? Not the players. It's a farce. Now, a question for you. Von Miller, what is he out there doing? No, never mind. We didn't get to the offensive defense yet. Never mind. We'll hold that off. I don't want to jump all over the place because I'm about to. I'm about to. So we're gonna show that for now. But everybody's heard ad nauseum by now. But this is my question. Bills' offense has 505 yards, converts 59% on third down, and has 4 touchdowns in 5 red zone trips. They ran 27 more plays than Philly, and had a time of possession edge of 40-26 and some change, and they lost. That was tweeted by Howard Simon. I tweeted out, Can somebody, and this is when I tag people, can somebody ask Sean why you went with Iz and Sat Hardy? I got to know. We had one kick return. He gave us nothing on anything else but that one kick return. He hasn't even practiced with the ones. He hasn't practiced with probably the twos. He has no wherewithal for the rest of the offense. So what the freak was the point? You don't use anybody anyway. And I added Salad Sports. I tagged Bills Mafia. I tagged Gold Bills. I tagged WGR. Because I need to know.
I don't know if you noticed, but the only time that the Bills run niche plays are against teams with bad offenses or against teams with offenses that Sean doesn't fear, right? They did a lot of motion in this game, but they didn't do any gadget plays. They didn't do anything that forced the defense to stay on their toes the entire time and watch out for any possible thing, right? Anytime that they ran motion, it was specifically to give Josh an opportunity to read what the defense was doing. And while that does help, if you don't do anything with that the entire game, by the time you get to the third and fourth quarter, the defense knows to just ignore the motion. They're not going to do any special handoffs. They're not going to do any. They did one wheel route, but that was from a static formation. It wasn't off of the motion. So, I don't understand. I just don't understand this coach's mindset to play everything as safe and as tight as humanly possible. Bro, if you that scared, go home. Just go home. This league is not for you anyway. When you are hiring players because of a fuzzy feeling you get during their interviews, and you're putting these guys on the field, and you decide at the beginning of the season, I'm going to take the guys that we were playing a spread offense with, and we're going to play a 12 this year.
Yep.
And my $46 million tight end is going to be a blocker from now on. Yep. And I'm going to expend much more money for a first-round tight end and never throw the ball to him in the first 4 or 5 games.
Can I tell you something? This is the stat I want to tell you. Dalton Kincaid, 7 catches in the fourth quarter. 7 catches in the fourth quarter. You traded up for a guy who's sure-handed. Yeah, he has, 2-3 drops? But you traded up for a guy who's sure-handed for those very situations, and he gets the ball 7 times in the final stanza of a game. Not a game, I'm sorry. The whole season. The final stanza of the season, 7 catches on 7 targets. So he's not even dropping them in the fourth. He's just not getting thrown to. Once again, disappears. Once again, no game plan for players.
This coach is putting his own team in a chokehold week in and week out. And he wants them to be able to go out and win a game with him on their back and his arm wrapped around their throat. And anytime he starts to get nervous, he squeezes and they can feel it. And they play that way. Every single team in the NFL is an embodiment or a reflection of their head coach. It's the reason why the Steelers can go 7-4 with a freaking Kenny Pickett and still win games with their defense. Because let's be honest, their offense, for the first time, they threw for 400 yards yesterday, and it didn't even look like they threw for 400 yards. They still didn't look like a prolific offense. But guess what? Their defense is still getting sacks like crazy. Their defense is still getting stops and making plays like crazy.
Their offense is good enough.
Right. When you have an identity, when you are playing to your true identity and you are playing by a true philosophy that you know works, that's how you end up with a head coach like Mike Tomlin, where no matter what happens, you trust that guy. Why? Because he's going to get you double-digit wins every season, even if you don't make the playoffs. And he's just kind of got a quarterback right now, and he's making it happen. Sean McDermott has had the second best quarterback in the league for 6 years, and the best that he could do is an embarrassing loss in the AFC Championship.
Best he could do. Got mopped.
And then another embarrassing loss in a divisional game against the Chiefs.
Got mopped.
How many embarrassing losses is it going to take? Rex Ryan only got 2 years before we decided he was a clown. Yep. And I've already proven to everybody that Sean McDermott has the same exact record in his first 2 seasons as head coach as Rex Ryan did. There is no reason at all that we should have written off that game against Jacksonville the first year that he was here. We had that game won.
All we had to do was score a touchdown.
That's it.
All we had to do was score a touchdown.
Sean McDermott was on the sideline jacking off to this 6-3 game the whole entire way.
He was excited about 6-3. All we had to do was score a touchdown. Now, this tying it back to the game yesterday, they allowed 39 plays in the second half. 39 plays they had in the second half of the game. They had 15 first downs in the second half of the game yesterday. They had a 3.3 yard per pass increase from the first half into the second half. I'm sorry. They allowed 280 second half yards when there was only 99 in the first half. They allowed 4 of 7 on third downs in the second half. And I have it in my phone. You know, matter of fact, because I know they didn't convert a first down on third down in the first half. Let me just find it real quick.
Can I ask you a quick question real quick while you look
Go ahead.
up? You ever played chess before?
Yeah.
Or any other strategy game for that matter?
Yes.
You know, usually before you decide to make a move, you think about what the other player might do as a result of the move you make. Right?
Yes.
And that's typically just that's basic common sense in any strategy game, right? You want to consider what the next, few steps after an initial move is going to be, right? How is it that our head coach in 6 years has not been able to show that he can do that in a game?
He ain't got it, man.
What you were pointing to just now, the difference between the first half and the second half, is exactly what I texted you. The Eagles started running the ball, which is something that I knew was inevitable. This team already knew they could run the ball. They started off the first half trying to see how they would be able to pass the ball.
And what did I say last show? What did I say the Eagles were number 1 in the league on offense? RPOs.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1.
They burned us with every single one.
On RPOs.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if you heard, but one of the Eagles said on the scoring play that won the game.
Oh, they knew they had it.
Well, they saw the safety move, and they said, this is exactly what we're –
That was Jordan Mailata, yep.
So, you know what side they're running to if you do scouting. You know what side they take it to, and you overload the opposite side.
Yep. Because
you have no clue what you're looking at. You have no clue. You want to send a zero blitz at the most inopportune times. You want to – for people that don't know what a zero blitz is, the easiest way I can explain it is if everybody doesn't do what they're supposed to do fast, you're going to lose badly, especially on a pass, because there's nobody back behind the cornerbacks. When you keep in mind, you're playing against a guy who was a win in the Super Bowl last year away from being an MVP of a Super Bowl in Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
He should have been an MVP. He was the best player on the field in the Super Bowl. You got A.J. Brown, who, by all accounts, is one of the top 3 wide receivers, I guess.
Right.
You got Devontae Smith, who was burning people left and right. You have Julio Jones, who in his prime was making a mockery out of the league. But instead, you want to go ahead and throw a zero blitz, meaning your backup cornerbacks have no help, which they've been afforded the whole game, and you're going to win this way.
Sean McDermott is a 70-year-old man trapped in a 40-year-old's body.
Whoa, 50, because I'm almost 40, and we ain't the same.
Okay.
He's not 50, but
we'll say 50.
Yeah, I just don't want no association.
Here's what I mean by that.
I know what you mean.
Our generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a clear picture. Our generation is trapped between his music and
my music. I'm not
your
regular.
Specifically music, but
I'm
music that was a generation before us.
You're right.
Right? And for us, we're at this point now where everybody our age is a parent, some may be grandparents at this age. And it's kind of a weird thing because we still feel young, but we are older than the generation coming up after us, but we still got a whole generation before us that hasn't retired yet. Right? So it's kind of this awkward place, and that's exactly where Sean McDermott is. He's in this place where he came up under all of the great traditional coaches that won games in the 2000s when running backs were still getting paid the second most amount of money on the team.
They were like the most important player on the team.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where he came up at. And he finally gets his shot in the new era where he's outmatched. He came into the game in this era of NFL football undergunned because he was trying to carry with him all of his tradition and knowledge and culture and everything that he learned in his tenure as a defensive coordinator under all these great older coaches, and he forgot to adjust his mindset to how the new era of football is being played. And so now you add on to that everything that comes with it. You're good enough to turn a trash team into a respectable team, and you get the clout from that. And then the year after that, and let's be honest, you didn't even plan on starting Allen that whole year.
No.
You did not. You thought Nathan Peterman was going to go out there and be a game manager for you and you know, get you to the playoffs again because you did the same thing the year before with Tyrod Taylor. Mm-hmm. That didn't work out. You had to start Allen, and you went 6-10. So then you fast forward the year after that, Brian Daboll's second year, it's 2020, baby. I'm sorry, no, it's 2019 at that point. It's 2019 at that point. You starting to cook. You starting to see, listen, we got a guy that can play. We just got to get him some receivers.
Which they really didn't want to do.
Right.
Because it takes away from the money for the defense.
Exactly. But that's kind of what I'm trying to say is the reason that they don't get receivers, the reason they think they can, Sean thinks he can invest in the defense, the reason why he's making these decisions is because he's still stuck in his age, which is 2000s football. He still thinks that this is okay to do in the league, and it's not. And right now, there's nobody in the building that can tell him otherwise. That is the problem. And I'm pretty sure that at some point throughout this 6 years, before Frazier left, before Daboll left, before Chad Hall left, before everybody who's no longer with this team as a coach left or was fired, somebody tried to say something to him to that effect. Like, yo, man, it's a different age. Mm-hmm. It's a different age. Like Chad Hall was like, yo, everybody that I get a hold of is 10 years older than me. What am I supposed to do with these guys? I don't got nobody to develop. Why even bother at this point? You only signing veterans. Mm-hmm. And all the rookies you draft, the fourth round, fifth round, sixth round,
the team anyway, so yeah.
Right. They're not going to be on it. So why am I here?
Right. Yeah, I think Nick Geary hit it on the head. Everything I've been saying, especially with regards to the construct of the team, the way it's built. I mean, people don't want to believe me. You don't listen to what I say. And I'm not talking to you guys that are faithful to the show. I'm not talking to people that have the same kind of mind, but it's irrefutable evidence. You keep restructuring. There's nobody else to restructure. Everybody's over 30.
Yep.
We're in cap jail next year. We're in cap jail.
How those safeties doing? How they looking right now?
I was actually going to get to that because, like Nate Geary said, and I said it as well, in regards to how I feel about Sean and his ceiling. Yeah, he was great. He was exactly what we needed when we were trying to restart. He's exactly what the team needed when we didn't have a quarterback, when we didn't have a Von Miller, we didn't have things. But now that you see the boys turn them in, we got no use for you anymore because you're holding everybody back. And what I was getting at is he's wasting. He's wasting Josh's prime. Yep. He's wasted Josh's prime with an elite Stephon Diggs. He almost wasted Khalil Shakir. He's wasted our time with Ken Dorsey. And I'm not saying that because I want him back. I'm saying he wasted our time with him. We could have done better at the time when we got Ken Dorsey. He wasted draft capital with Zay Jones, Khair Elam, and Cody Ford. You blundered Wyatt Teller after you drafted him, gave up on him too fast. Yep. The cap space with Von Miller, $120 million. Deontay Hardy, $5 million a season. You gave Dawson Knox $50 million to make him a blocker. I mean, come on now. Should we go any further? I mean, what else do I have to tell you?
Please keep going. Please.
Okay, so let me find this other list I wrote out.
Please keep going.
I have another list. Let's talk about all McDermott's failures.
Yes.
Let's do that. And feel free to add whatever you got.
Mm-hmm.
All his big games. Houston playoffs. What was that? 2019.
The comeback from what was it? We were up.
We were up
19 to what, 10?
Yeah, and then you went to a shell.
Yep.
And we went backwards because Josh Allen started to try to be Josh Allen too little, too late.
And because we didn't have any receivers that
well,
could
you had
do
Duke
anything
Williams.
that
He had
game.
like 12 targets.
Yeah, right.
Dude, yeah.
And I think that was the
whatever
first
his name
time that
was.
we had used him to that degree in the entire season.
Basically. I mean, he was the number one guy. He came out to practice squad. He actually produced. So I'm not going to say he didn't do anything, but you're not a 13 target guy.
Right.
You know, so let's go backwards. Jacksonville 2017 playoffs. All you had to do was score a touchdown. The Hail Murray, 13 seconds. The Broncos game, the Jets game, the Patriots game, 20 seconds.
Minnesota game.
I didn't put that on there because Josh slipped and fell. That's why I didn't put that on there, but true. Minnesota as well.
I mean,
I thought about it, but I didn't do it because he literally
Josh
fell in
shouldn't
the
have
end
even
zone.
been in that position if Sean had did his job on the defensive side. And here's the other thing that we're seeing too now. All of these losses, right? We bagged on Frazier for weeks because of 13 seconds. Why are you playing the soft coverage? Why you got your guys bailing, 3 seconds before the ball is snapped? You showing them everything, blah, blah, blah. Everything that we talked about is exactly what Sean McDermott did in this game last night.
Every time, every one of these games, I challenge you.
Right.
Every one of these games, it's the same.
Same exact
Go
thing.
look at 13 seconds and go to the Broncos game. Go to 13 seconds, go to the Jets game. Go to 13 seconds, go to the Patriots game. Go to 13 seconds, look at 20 seconds. I bet you see the same defense. I wonder why.
If this doesn't tell you why Leslie Frazier took a leave of absence this season, I don't know what will. I think that was his only way of trying to make it clear in the most professional way possible. A guy like that had to have known that this was on the table if he stepped away.
He's like, yo, I can't win.
Right.
There's no wins.
I can't win with this guy, so I'm gonna let him kill himself.
There's no wins. I gotta get out of here for my own mental state. And this is what I was gonna say. Nate Geary said when in terms of Sean McDermott, he said, who's gonna fire him? Brandon Beane ain't gonna fire him. Pagula's not watching. And if you do fire him now, who's your DC? Who's your DC?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
I said this last week.
Anybody is better at this point.
No, that's not the point. But I'm saying you're getting rid of one guy who is in charge of two things, and I mean anybody could pretty much do it. But what I'm saying is, in his mind, you're taking away. If you fire me now, you're taking away two positions and not one, because you're gonna hold Joe Brady over. That's fine.
Yeah.
At least for the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we're out of the playoffs. Joe, you want to try head coach? You want to audition? Maybe not for Buffalo, but it's going to be.
That's not the way that I want Joe Brady to have a head coaching position.
Well,
even here.
You want McDermott going or not?
Well, so are you telling me the only way that I can get Sean out of here is if Brady takes over?
That would be it, because it's not going to be Matt Smiley.
Why not? Eric
I
Washington.
don't know how he still has a job. How does Matt Smiley still? Washington could technically do it, yeah. But
he's the assistant head coach.
Yeah, but
And then Al Holcomb takes over the defense. Done.
Nah. Eric Washington takes over the defense. He becomes a de facto head coach.
Now
he's
got to pull a McDermott the rest of the season.
You can only have one guy.
Oh my God, you are really trying to destroy this entire coaching staff. If Sean can't do it, nobody will.
Can do it.
Yeah,
but I mean. And when did I text you last night when Cook dropped the ball? What'd I say? Before he even touched the ground, I said, he going on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
I said,
he did.
He benched.
14 plays.
Before the ball even hit the ground, I said, it's over. Yeah. But they realized, this all we got. This is our guy. We got to put him in. And what do you do? Okay, I'm sorry.
Gabe Davis didn't get benched.
Oh, I'm glad I had a list, but go ahead. Do your thing.
Dalton Kincaid didn't get benched. Stephon Diggs didn't get benched.
Nope.
Who else? I think Murray missed a block or something like that on one of those plays.
Murray missed a block.
I mean,
Micah Hyde.
Yeah, Micah Hyde didn't get benched.
Rasul Douglas didn't get benched.
Exactly. Rasul Douglas didn't
even
know what play it was. He thought it was right. You didn't bench him after that?
Right
now, he's playing at the same level that Trey White is.
You know what? This is what I'm about to do.
He's got more picks than Trey White had, last season?
Yeah. This is what I'm about to do just for fun. You know I'm about to go to this is my go-to. And this wasn't even on the cuff. Tyrell Dodson didn't get benched for missing 2 tackles.
Oh, my God.
Jordan Poyer didn't get benched for missing 2 tackles.
On that last play where Hurts ran for that touchdown, he took the worst angle possible.
I know he did.
Why are you running wide to his right and giving him a chance to step inside? Like, he asked to – now, granted, Kelsey was already on the way over there to block him, but if he takes the right angle, he's fast enough to get past where Kelsey would have met him at.
You can get past the stack. That's
right.
That's easy.
Right.
I mean, it's not easy to make the play, but it's easy to fall. This is the thing. When I played, and like I said, once again, we're not going to talk about the level, but I wasn't good. Anyway, when I played, they said, if you can't make the play, just fall down. Create a pile. Just fall down and create a pile. How hard is that?
Yep.
The game is not moving too fast for you.
How does Micah Hyde
again
not make the right read on that play? He's probably one of the most experienced and you know highly intelligent players on the team when it comes to, you know, putting players in the right positions, making calls, all that kind of stuff. He's been a leader on this team forever. How do you not know that is one of the bread and butter plays of this offense, and you go running all the way to the defensive left side, offensive right side of the field, and try and cover a running back?
You know what's funny? I had this interaction with my mom during the game yesterday, right after the touchdown, and I said, "Who the freak is Olamide Zaccheaus?"
Oh, Zaccheaus.
So I mean, I knew who he was because he caught the touchdown. That's all I knew. My mom sent me a bing of his profile, because she thought I really didn't know who he was. The point was, I don't care who he is. The point was, why is he making the touchdown to tie, or you know, that whatever it was at the time? What did it, tie the game or whatever he did? Brought it within 3. The touchdown Zaccheaus had.
Yeah.
That was the point. The point was, why is he able to make that play over Hyde? Why is he able to be in that position to catch it?
Why was Poyer in the vicinity and
they both were again? Hyde and Poyer were right there.
I'm gonna tell you something. It looks like Hyde can't jump at all.
I don't think he can.
Like,
I don't think
he already couldn't jump against Murray before the neck injury, or against Hopkins on the Hail Murray play. But last night, he looked his age. He looked his injuries.
They both did. Him and Poyer
Same thing slow. For Jordan Poyer.
They look slow.
It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
This all goes back to how objective and how realistic your head coach can be as an analyzer of the team, of a person who is in charge of taking a look at the team and assessing where these players are. I mean, at some point, it has to stop being about relationships, and it's got to be about performance. You have to stop, and this was the thing I was thinking about today when I was driving. As men, Sean McDermott doesn't let players on the field who don't behave like grown men. Now, here's what I mean, because these are all grown men technically, right? But if you're not the refined, wise, slow to speak and quick to hear type of man in Sean McDermott's eyes, you don't get a chance to get on that field right away. If you look at the way they talk about Dalton Kincaid, when do you ever hear Dalton Kincaid talk? When do you ever hear Dalton Kincaid fart or make a joke or do anything like that?
I just heard him name himself dude.
Like, that's the most you get out of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for a rookie tight end, his production is off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
mm-hmm.
Before that, it was, well, we don't trust the rookie. And then it became, oh, well, it's kind of undeniable that this rookie is good. Maybe I do need to get him the ball. Right? But you got Cook doing the same exact things, and he's only fumbled one time since last season.
He fumbled. Yeah, he fumbled.
Well, he's lost a fumble. He fumbled twice in that same game. But
that was a rugby dribble. You have to dribble every 10 meters.
Oh, is that how they do it?
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Okay.
Thank you for that. But there's all these other examples of players who could have contributed early and gotten that experience early and sharpened the learning curve to the point where they could become major contributors earlier, but they never got the chance. Why? Because their personalities didn't meet the standard that Sean McDermott wanted.
Could you imagine if Sean McDermott was Michael Jordan's coach? Could you imagine if Sean McDermott was in charge of Kobe Bryant when he came out of Lower Merion?
They both would have punched him in his chest.
No, but could you imagine if he was a coach of Jerry Stackhouse? What I'm getting at is all of these guys when they first started. Michael Jordan, obviously, he was a prodigy. Everybody knew that. But Kobe Bryant came off the bench. Jerry Stackhouse couldn't dribble when he got to the league. I mean, my point is,
they never would have made it.
That's the point. Now you have James Cook, who you drafted in the second round of the 2022 draft. But he can't stay on the field because he fumbled. He got the ball pulled out of his arms. Got the ball pulled out of his arms by a defender with two hands on the ball.
Yep.
And he gets benched. Where you have a wide receiver who goes incognito for games on end. You put a C on his chest, and he's immune to any kind of discipline, any kind of bad thoughts, because he can block.
Yep.
Make it make sense, man. Why is Spencer Brown? Spencer Brown has been on the team, 3 years now? And he's had more bad than good. Connor McGovern, the worst offensive lineman we have right now. He ain't even sniffing the sideline unless he needs some water.
But what do they all have in common?
Go ahead. What do they have?
They are great people.
Must be. I don't know. Spencer Brown did chug that beer. And he did chug it. I don't know if he swallowed it or not, but he chugged it.
Doesn't matter. Sean McDermott can relate to chugging beers.
Can he?
Yeah.
He said ass in the press conference yesterday. I said, wow.
Right.
First.
That's my point.
It's first.
That's kind of my point. All those guys are great people. Sean McDermott has low-key been operating with no more than emotion this entire time. He's been coaching with emotion this entire time. Logic and analytics have only served enough of a purpose to solidify what his emotions tell him is right. And that's as far as he allows the numbers to take him.
You see what your boy Nick Wright said?
No. Oh, yes, I did. I watched it before I came here.
Even Nick Wright.
Nick Wright said Josh Allen played a great game.
Well, this is what he said, and he tweeted this out. He said, first McDermott uses the second timeout to ice a rush kicker attempting a 59-yarder, then doesn't let Allen, who was on an absolute heater, take at least one shot with 20 seconds left with a timeout left to get a chunk and have a shot at a field goal. He said McDermott doesn't trust his quarterback enough to give him a chance to get in field goal range. You can't make this up. He's still thinking about the entire sequence. Josh Allen, I don't know what else I got to do to smack in the face. Your coach don't trust you.
Right.
Your coach don't trust you. You're on the team by default. Everybody else knows your talent.
But I think that's why Josh said that in the press conference. He's got confidence in those guys in the locker room. I don't know what says it any clearer than that. He realized at that point when he had to take a knee that his coach doesn't trust him. Okay, fine. You don't trust me. I don't trust you no more.
What did he say? He said it was. What did he say? It was the right call. That was what he said in his press conference. It was the right call, and that was all.
To
That's
take
how
a
he
knee?
left it. Yeah.
He didn't believe that.
No, I mean either he does or doesn't. He said it.
Right. It don't matter.
So even and these are pundits I listen to a lot. Joe Marino, he called McDermott's coaching cowardly. Now I use a different word in my text, but we'll go with cowardice. We'll just use that one.
He's a pussy.
That's what I said.
Sorry, Ken.
That's what I said. But for the sake of me, right? Yeah,
yeah. Daddy didn't say the cuss
word.
Is
what it is. Yeah.
Uncle Aramis said it.
Yeah. And Joe Marino, Locked on Bills. Listen to him on Odyssey. Listen to him on YouTube. Wherever his podcasts are being played.
Yeah.
He puts the loss on McDermott. Joe Marino says he was happy with the Hardy scratch, which I still want to know why. I mean, there's got to be a reason why you could be. I'm not saying you're wrong, but they didn't use them. What was the game plan? They didn't use them. So I mean, usually when you scratch somebody that gets snaps, you're gonna put somebody in that's gonna get snaps.
You know, I think right. I'm starting to what is it? I'm starting to speculate about how these players make it onto the team and don't get used. And my theory now, my working theory, and I'm going to
you will stand on it.
I'm gonna study this out. I'm
okay.
You know I'm gonna make some more observations and use some analysis. And,
okay.
And my conclusion that I come to will be revealed on the show. I promise.
Ooh,
but
I can't wait.
My theory is that Brandon Beane is out here making these moves, thinking that he's bringing in guys that can help this team, and he'll go to Sean McDermott and say, here's the numbers on this guy. Here's the scouting report on this guy. I think he can help our team. And Sean McDermott will look at the scouting report and he'll go, okay, is he a good guy? Yeah, he's a good guy. All right, sign him, bring him in. Let's see what he's got. And then the guy comes in and he doesn't fit the, quote, culture that Sean is used to by now. And so that guy doesn't get on the field. There is no other explanation for a team signing the type of players that they do on the offensive side of the ball, and I guess you can say even on the defensive side of the ball with Kaiir Elam, and then not using them. There's no, unless these guys are just absolute busts. But even in that case, what teams typically do is they admit it early. They just get the guy out of there, trade him away. Take him somewhere else and try to get something for him while he still has value.
Frank Reich in Carolina got 12 games, 11 games. I'm sure they had a bye. Dorsey got 27 regular season games.
Yep.
Before realizing he wasn't that dude.
Yep.
The Bills are always slow to react.
Always.
This is like being slow to react in the stock market. If you're a day trader, ask a day trader how it is if you're slow to react. Ask them how successful you're going to be.
Look where we're at now. That's the perfect analogy for that, because 2024, we $50 million in the hole.
Yep.
$50 million in the hole.
Yep.
What type of defense we going to put on the field? We're not going to have money to sign guys. It's going to have to be all draft picks and undrafted free agents.
Yep.
This defense as a whole is going to be a scrap heap the entire 2024 season.
You better
and
pray
all of
somebody doesn't get hurt.
Right. You are literally going to have to trade up into the draft, into the first 10 picks to try and get yourself a number 2 receiver and hope that you can win enough games with your offense to get yourself into the playoffs and have a chance at a Super Bowl.
And by doing that, you just pissed away your number 1 cornerback.
Exactly.
You just pissed away your incumbent defensive end to take Von Miller's spot.
Right.
You just pissed away your new right tackle.
Or you know what you could do? You cannot fire Sean McDermott, and you can let him rebuild this team, and guess what you're going to have next season?
The same thing you got right now.
The same thing you got right now. You know why? Because all he's going to go do is find a bunch of vet men guys to come in, veteran minimum guys.
On 1 year contracts.
On 1 year contracts, right. You said it. You called it.
Yep.
And they're going to play out the season, and they're going to start off hot, and then they're going to get exposed. And the same thing that's happening this season is going to happen again next season.
But it'll be okay because we had to get out of cap hell.
Right. This is what all the you fans out there, not you people watching, but if anybody else that's not subscribed is watching this show.
And you should be subscribed. Why wouldn't you be subscribed to this torture?
Right. But anyway, this is what all those fans out there that are still, holding on to the Sean McDermott teat saying, you're still the best coach we've ever had and I don't ever want to let you go. Yeah. You're operating with just as much emotion as Sean McDermott has been this entire season and pretty much his whole entire Bills head coach career.
Yep.
That's just the bottom line of it.
Yep. And where I like to go, Von Miller, 21 snaps yesterday. Did anybody notice him? I forget. I think Joe Marino said that he looked disinterested. He looked like he had no discipline. He looked like he had no will to get to the quarterback.
Right.
Did anybody notice that Shaq Lawson and Greg Rousseau were on the field at the same time in the most pivotal points of the game? Did anybody notice that there's no pass rush? So that means there's no pass rush.
Yeah.
But this is the coach that authorizes his game plan. Oh, wait, who's he going to authorize? It's his game plan.
Well, here's the other thing, too. When you have a guy as your head coach who frequently disrespects younger players and seems to put all these older players up on a pedestal like they can do no wrong, you got a guy like A.J. Epinesa that comes into the game and in his limited amount of time makes an impact play that almost ended up as a fumble recovery by the Bills. And because I think it was the next play after that, he jumped off sides when really it was the center flinching that didn't get called by the refs. You take him off the field, and he almost just doesn't see the field the rest of the game. I mean, Rousseau's a nice player, but he's a run defender.
He's a run stopper. Yeah.
He's not a pass rusher. He should not be on the field at all on that last drive.
In that capacity, yeah. In that capacity, you should have.
Unless you're going to put him in the middle next to Ed Oliver, and just tell them both to go rush the passer.
Yeah, you need Leonard Floyd out there at that point in time.
Right.
Leonard Floyd's got it. Even not Leonard.
And what happened with Leonard
Kingsley.
Floyd?
He got hurt, but he was fine. Sal Capaccio said he had to get his hand checked out. Something was wrong with his hand, but he was fine. I mean, what's the other guy? Kingsley Jonathan. He's not a more viable pass rusher than Von Miller right now. I mean, come on now.
He's a young guy.
He's a young guy that came out the practice squad.
He's inexperienced,
and he doesn't make $20 million a season.
And he's not an adult.
Evidently, he doesn't make $20 million a season either.
Right.
You're justifying what? All you're doing is making yourself look worse. That's all you're doing. You're just making yourself look worse by having guys that you paid boatloads of money not do what you paid them for.
Right. Come in and do nothing.
Now, I mean, I don't even know why I want to say it, but it just made me laugh last night. Bulldog said McDermott is horny for using timeouts.
Yes, I loved it when he said that. That was great.
I mean, I was laying in bed like, what did I just hear? I was like, go on. How does this work?
That man is fed up.
He couldn't get 5 minutes into the show without having a rant.
Right.
And Soap was so pissed off he couldn't even get through his promos. He just rushed through them. Right. They're not getting paid for none of that. They're gonna want their money back. I mean,
oh my gosh, it is bad. Real quick, I was thinking, I was driving again earlier today, and I had this thought. I'm like, how do guys like Sean McDermott keep getting jobs here in Buffalo, right? Because you kind of see it in other places around the league. Your Washington Redskins hire guys like that. Detroit has kind of always hired guys like that. Who else? I mean, Bill Belichick has been like that everywhere he's been. He just had the benefit of having Tom Brady on his team for 20 years. But I thought about it for Buffalo in particular, and what came to my mind was the Family Guy episode where Lois was running for mayor against Adam West.
Okay.
And in the debate that they had, Lois was talking about, all the stuff that she wanted to fix up and all that kind of stuff. And every time they asked Adam West a question, he went and picked up a person from the audience and rubbed their head and put them on their knee and did all this ridiculous stuff aside from answering their question, right? So then Lois goes up and talks to or Brian goes and talks to Lois and tells her, like, just you got to say stupid stuff to stupid people, essentially, right? So the next time she goes back out there, somebody asks her a question, she says 9/11, and everybody goes wild, right? And then somebody else asks her a question, 9, 11, and they start going crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Is it possible that this 9/11 for every Bills owner that's existed, and it's only been 2, is weak for 2 words: blue collar? Because every single head coach that's come in here, aside from maybe Rex Ryan, who is what I would call the pop culture hire just for the sake of trying to come off as young and vibrant by a new owner, because that's something that Ralph Wilson never would have done.
Right.
But if you look at all of Ralph Wilson's hirings, every one of his have been hardworking, blue collar, nose to the grinder.
No frills.
Huh?
No frills.
No frills. Right. All of this old school, traditional, powdery, like it's just it's utterly ridiculous. But what you see Pegula falling into now, and maybe this is where it all starts, because one of the things that we texted about like pretty late in the day, like almost before we got here, was how Sean's relationship with Pegula is being talked about right now as the reason why he won't get fired.
Right.
Like,
oh yeah, it's
ever.
all over the place. It's all over the place. Yeah.
Right. And to me, what that speaks to is there's an emotional connection that is superseding what the logical understanding should be, which is this guy is destroying my brand piece by piece. Now, he did help to build it up, but now he's the reason why it's being torn down. At some point, you got to understand that superstar marketer that you had just isn't the right guy for talking to that to the next generation anymore.
Right.
And if you're a Fortune 500 company that markets for other companies, and your top guy isn't getting it done, you got to get somebody else in the building that knows how to talk to this next generation, who knows what the next wave looks like.
That's the worst part of this whole deal, because the team, what do you call it, self-scouting? The team never self-scouts. They never do a self-reflection. They never do a self-evaluation. Because it's not even McDermott's fault. It's not. Because what's happening right now is what you just said. Pegula doesn't understand that he's the issue. He doesn't understand. And he's not going to – you're going to keep hiring. What are you going to hire, another McDermott? You're going to hire another – you're not going to do another Rex. But
exactly.
But the thing is, anybody that self-scouts himself, they know, I don't know football. I've flamed out twice already. I've done no better. The guys before that, they were no better. Mm-hmm. Let me get somebody here that knows how to evaluate talent on that level. Let me get somebody that can be another set of ears, because it's not going to be Brandon Beane, because he can go too. You need to get somebody in here that knows how to evaluate a coach, knows how to evaluate the trajectory of somebody trying to do this job. I'm almost 40, man. I ain't got that much longer to go.
Well, I don't know about that. You should have at least another 40 years.
Well, it's going to take another 40 years of this. So, I mean, maybe Junie can tell us what it's like on the other side. Maybe Ken will be able to tell me when he's freaking 80 years old what it was like. Dad, you should have been there in 2078. You should have been there. It was a time. But the thing is, it's going to be a perpetual cycle over and over and over and over again until somebody comes in here and says, "Oh, it ain't your Sabres ain't doing so hot.
Yep.
Your Bills ain't doing so hot." But if somebody say your oil refinery's not doing, he gonna jump to it.
Okay, so I'm about to say something that might be a little sensitive, and I want everybody to bear with me. Is it possible, in your opinion, is it possible that since Kim Pegula fell ill, that became the difference between accountability and free reign for Sean McDermott?
I mean, that's not really sensitive, and it's not insensitive at all. I mean, it really was.
People are aware.
No, I was scared when you said I was scared what you're going to say, but it's possible. It's possible. I just don't know enough about what they actually did in the back end. I mean, you figured what was it? The Pegula Sports
Sports
firm,
and Entertainment.
Yeah. They folded. I mean,
well, yeah, but I think my thought and my reason for asking it was she was essentially the president of the team.
No, I know, and that's kind of where I'm going, because I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
She was the president, and my thing is, I just don't know enough about what she actually did. I know what her role was.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much of an influence she had. We know Pegula don't know what's going on.
Right.
We know that. So, I mean, behind closed doors, did she make a big difference? She may have. But I just didn't see a stark difference in anything when she was a figurehead versus now. I just see us catching up with them. The injuries, the I can do two jobs when you really can't. This is the first time we've seen it. It's a what do you call it? A microcosm of all the things that weren't in existence before. It's a perfect storm of crap. So it could be her. It could be, but it also could be him thinking I'm that dude. I can take on all this. When in actuality, you can't do none of it.
Right.
Teams got years of tape on you. Teams got all this stuff on you. You're 7-29 in challenges. You suck there. You still suck at it. You suck at time management. You still suck at it. You just didn't have to do it against the Eagles. You didn't have to do it against, Joe Burrow. You didn't have to, that's the difference for me. I mean, and let's be frank for a second. You make your point. I got another point. You go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Can we stop with the penalties?
What do you mean?
Can we just
talking about them?
Stop blaming penalties on why we're doing what we're doing? I mean,
well, okay. Can I counter just real quick? Is that okay? Do you think I'll say it like this. Is it possible that coaching has something to do with how these penalties come about in the first place? In your mind?
I mean, obviously there's no discipline, and that's what I point out. Every one of my notes we've had this season. Where's the discipline that he preaches? Where's that? Deion Dawkins, they asked me, and he said, I ain't got no beef with the Rush, man. They already got it. I ain't got no beef with them. I think McDermott said that there were clear and obvious holds. But I think what I'm getting at in terms of this game, when you look at, I had to post, that's why I posted on Facebook, the actual letter of the law for horse collars. Yeah, it looked bad, but it didn't fit the description of a horse collar. The guy pulled his shirt from the front. He tackled him from the front. The tackle was from the front. The rule states his knees have to buckle. You have to pull him down with force from the back. He didn't fall back. So, yeah, it's subjective. But we can't hinge a 37-34, 37-30, for a loss on something like that. Case in point, when I played ball, I was getting hacked up. I was getting all this stuff, and I started complaining to the ref.
Mm-hmm.
And the ref said, the F you talking to me for? Your man down there scoring right now. And I'm like, okay. So I come down and do the same. You going to call it now? Say something else. 31, say something else, you getting attacked. Okay. Come down again. I get clothesline. Oh, okay. So I realized I got to play this differently. Mm-hmm. I got to be cerebral because he's not on my side. I'm not getting no calls.
Right.
We had 10 penalties at half. We were up 13-9.
Yeah.
We got one penalty against us in the second half. One. And they ended up running up 280 yards on us on the second half. They ended up scoring, what is that, 28 points on us in the second half. Because all you want to do is complain. Maybe the player's not. Maybe not. But my point is still valid. You're not always going to get the calls.
Right.
You're not. You're in Philly. I posted on the group before we even. Sean Hockley, the home team wins 60% of the time. Sean Hockley usually has 12 or so penalties against teams when he refs. What happened? 11 penalties. Who won? The Eagles. Now, somebody else said that Sean Hockley is 4-0 when the Eagles are 4-0 when he's their ref. Okay. We were still up until the boneheaded 20 seconds. We were still up. What was he going to do? Say, I didn't see him call a timeout? What was he going to say? So miss me with the penalty nonsense. Yes, we were undisciplined. Yes, they missed some calls. But guess what? It was on both sides. You got to learn to play differently.
Right.
And for people that never played sports before, you might not hear me right now. But everybody that's played at any level, you've been there before where somebody just did not give you a call. You said, you know what? I'm done. I got to do this a different way.
Right. Right.
And you're not going to be a championship team if you're not going to do it a different way. And LaFlop Allen, that
was genius, right?
Oh my God, the man pulled both legs up when he got the roughing the passer. He got hit and he folded both legs up and fell down. I said, wow, he got the call. That's a superstar call.
Locked Rain said 100%. I'm just going to assume she's saying 100% for everything that we've said
Everything.
so far, unless you want to clarify what that is.
She said, and no cheesecake if you don't agree. But
whoa,
No,
I
just-
agree with everything you say,
every
as long as it means I get some
thing.
cheesecake.
As long as you get that cheesecake.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, I wanted to go. Sean McDermott said, and the only thing I wrote down in his old presser, opportunities to come up more with we have to come up with more opportunities on offense.
What?
And what I say, blockhead. This is the most points you scored since
You being nice with Blockhead.
I mean,
You being real nice with Blockhead.
I know.
I done called the man an ass hat and
I
all
was gonna
kind
say
of
you said ass hat. That made me laugh.
all kind of stuff.
But that was the most points you scored since the Dolphins game and the fourth highest output of the season. And your offense has to come up with a way to score.
Yeah.
You're the Lulu. What the guy say? Jesus Christ on the motorbike.
You know who Sean McDermott thinks he is? Remember Leon from the Budweiser commercials? You
know what I'm saying?
you want Leon to fumble the ball and recover it? Man, Leon can't do everything now.
Yeah.
That's who Sean thinks he is. He thinks he's that guy where look, I can't give up the go-ahead touchdown and score the points.
And
you want me to do both?
And take a knee, and you want me to
and manage the clock the right way and not
your
call
mind.
ridiculous timeouts?
And this is okay. I got another thing that's driving me nuts. The notion, the philosophy, the ideology that we stuck with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Last I checked, weren't we supposed to be Super Bowl favorites?
Yeah.
Last I checked, weren't we winning yesterday?
Yeah.
Last I checked, there was no comeback. We were winning the whole time.
You doing some good checking right now.
What kind of mentality does the city have? Does fandom have? What is that? We don't. What does Steph Diggs say? Steph Diggs said we don't do moral victories. No, he meant to say I don't do moral victories because the boys behind you, some of them cool with it. We stuck with them. Your fans, we stuck with them.
Yeah.
You're better than them yesterday.
You know, somebody called the show, the radio show, and said that we need to hold Josh Allen accountable for that interception he threw. You know what Darius Slay said? Darius Slay said, you go out there and throw 50 passes and only throw one interception. If you throw 50 passes, you're going to throw an interception, period.
Darius Slay is the other team's cornerback. Darius Slay is giving our quarterback the supreme compliment.
Yeah. That's exactly right. This is the guy who's defending our quarterback. And we still got people calling the freaking radio stations and everywhere else saying that Josh need to stop turning the ball over.
It's not
Sean McDermott's not the one on the field throwing interceptions. Are you kidding me right now? We've been seeing this show from Sean McDermott for 6 years, since day one. Because they backed into the playoffs under Sean McDermott. They didn't force their way into the playoffs. They got lucky. Thank you to Boyd and Andy Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we got into the playoffs.
And
people are giving Sean McDermott all this credit, like, yeah, he broke the drought. No, the Bengals broke the drought.
And we celebrated it.
Right.
I mean, I get the players celebrating it. I get that because they played. They came back in the season. They started off slow and came back and persevered through whatever it was they were going through. Kyle Williams, his last game, they were happy for him. I get that. I've celebrated crap before. I've been there. But for you guys 6 years later to still be holding to that?
Oh yeah.
What are you, Al Bundy with your high school jersey on? Watch it. What are you doing?
Okay. For those of you who've been watching this entire time, you might already kind of know this story. But remember when I was talking before about my time that I lived in Lockport?
Mm-hmm.
And Lockport is really nice now compared to how it was when I lived there. Like there was nothing there when I lived there.
Right.
And it's just a night and day difference now as opposed to when I lived there. But back what my point in saying all this is when I lived in Lockport, we had no stores. It was like we weren't even connected to the outside world at all, because You couldn't go to the mall and find the latest Jordans. You couldn't go to the mall and find a jean jacket or a jean a jean suit or something like that that kids in high school were rocking at that time. And
I'm glad you said that because you said jean suits.
That's a while ago.
I liked them. That's
ago.
a long time. Junior probably was like,
right. This back when they were still stonewashing jeans back in the
yeah,
day.
boy.
So,
Jordan stonewashed jeans.
right. We saw the commercials. We just didn't have nowhere in Lockport to go buy the stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And how I'm correlating this to the city of Buffalo is I texted you this. This city has kind of been in its own world for the longest time, right? And every single time that we've gotten a little bit of publicity, we've reveled in it because we never really had much, right? Yep. We used to be this amazing, ahead of its time city that was going to be one of the biggest cities in the country, and then somebody figured out how to build a monorail, and somebody figured out how to build planes, and all of a sudden our waterways weren't the best way to move things, right? Yeah. So since that point, it's been a recovery period for this city to try and figure out who we were and who we wanted to be. And since that point, our sports teams have been a major reflection of what this city was, which is a lack of identity. Because, I'm sorry, blue collar is not it. It can't be. Blue collar could have been it back when Bethlehem Steel was still open.
We got Tesla. We got Amazon.
Right.
We're moving to the 21st century.
Like, for case in point right here, for the owner to get up on the podium and start off announcing the new stadium the way that he did. We're going to build a stadium over here and tear this other one full of all these memories down. And he even made it a point to try and address all the people that had an issue with this in the first place. We know that you want to keep the memories, but it's time to move into the future. Mm-hmm. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say it that way. But that was the message that he made sure to get through in the introduction of we're building a new stadium, right? If your owner is being told by his media team, his PR team, to say that because they wrote it for him. That's the only reason I'm saying.
Yeah, always.
But if that's what he's told to say, then there has to be some acknowledgement that most of the people in this area who are acknowledged for supporting the team or acknowledged as part of all these meetings that the Bills hold to see what the season ticket owners want or season ticket holders want for the team and all that kind of stuff. This is what this is what their idea of the city is a bunch of people that don't want change, a bunch of people that are afraid of change, a bunch of people that are afraid to live any other kind of way than the way that we've been living for the last 40 years. And I'm sorry, the last 40 years of football for this team, I mean, really, since 65, football for this city has not been great. Say what you want about the 4 Super Bowls, we lost.
4 times, we're the butt of jokes.
Exactly. When you talk about inconsistency, when you talk about failure, when you talk about, fail army and all the other different kind of ways that you can talk about not hitting the mark and not winning, that's how the Bills are referenced. And this game just gets added to that list. And the guy who's been putting us higher and higher on that list for the last 6 years is still here. And we're letting him do it. Mm-hmm. If we had the right equipment, I would have been playing 20 times during this episode. We knew who they were, and we let them off the hook.
I almost did that. Like,
that's
playoffs.
Exactly what we
playoffs.
Right. It's exactly what we've been doing for Sean McDermott. Is we knew who he was this whole entire time, and we let him off the hook. Mm-hmm. And now we're in a position now where mathematically we have to beat the Chiefs.
We have a 14% chance of getting to the playoffs.
Right.
14%.
If we don't beat the Chiefs in Kansas City, playoffs are out of the question.
Yeah, I was gonna post. Why don't you ask Stephon Diggs what our percentages, our chance of getting into the playoffs is? But nobody would have got it, and that would have pissed me off. So I just left it alone.
Yeah, I don't think we'll wait to go through all of that in week 18 when we see what Miami's doing. But
I'm over it. We're not getting in. We're not.
Right.
I'm going to say
I don't
you
want
guys.
to get in at this point. Not with this guy.
I'm going to spoil the movie for you guys. We're not getting in. That's it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you guys know my favorite stat. Josh Allen. He had the ball 2.75 seconds time to throw. Jalen Hurts 3.5 seconds to throw. 3.5. How many times did he get sacked? Once.
Yep.
He's been sacked 13 times this season. The team backed their way into 40 sacks, like they backed their way into the 2017 playoffs. What does it mean? You're getting toasted on the defensive side. Don't let that 40 sack fool you. Don't let anything else anybody tell you fool you, because this team is not aggressive. This team is still playing scared. This team still has McDermott's DNA all over it. But please, don't get caught up in the small stuff. It's all bells and whistles. There's no engine under the hood.
Yep.
There's none. And it's not the players. For once, it's not the players that suck. How many years have we had coaches that had teams that overperformed?
Right.
This ain't it.
Right.
This is a freaking layup.
I could understand, like, so if let me get my point where I agree with you
Go
first. I agree with you from the standpoint of it's not the players. I will say this. Even if it was the players, who's picking the players?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's really what it boils down to. Sean McDermott has had ultimate power over this entire franchise for the last 6 years. Mm-hmm. And so every single thing that has happened with this team is falling on his shoulders. Mm-hmm. It should. Mm-hmm. But somehow he's been able to divert that attention with all these different moves, like we talked about earlier, where he fooled Josh Allen into thinking that continuity was the way to go in hiring Ken Dorsey, and got Josh Allen to kind of stand at the forefront of that, right? But my second point is this. Chan Gailey, his best receiver was a 7th-round pick by the name of Stevie freaking Johnson.
That worked out on a basketball court in the offseason.
Right. He didn't even play football until he got to training camp.
Yeah.
Right? But my point in bringing that up is this. Chan Gailey got a lot of flack for not having a good defense, right? His offense, the players that he was given, because he wasn't picking these players. He had a GM who was giving him these players. Mm-hmm. For the job that he did with this offense,
yep,
for them to start off as hot as they did,
yep, with,
who did they have? Ryan Fitzpatrick at the time? Ryan Fitzpatrick. For them to be getting on ESPN and getting all the interviews and accolades and stuff like that, for people to kind of overlook the job that he did, to say that Sean McDermott has done a much better job with 10 times the talent that Chan Gailey had, and is blasphemy.
And what they call a blank check. Because you got to remember, Chan Gailey played under Ralph Wilson. He was tight, notoriously tight.
Exactly.
Now, Ralph Wilson used to get flack for he had to reach the salary floor. That was his thing. How do you get to the floor? Not the ceiling, the floor.
Yep.
And let's go through this again. Fred Jackson, T.J. Spiller, Donald Jones, David Nelson, Jeff Handgardner, Fitzpatrick, Stevie Johnson. I mean, should we keep going on?
Yes,
I mean,
please.
Come on now.
Yes.
I mean,
Donald Jones.
Look at that team and look at this team.
Yeah.
Look at that offensive line and look at this offensive line.
Right.
Look at that money and look at this money. It's not the same. It's a layup. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, yo, Brady, Dorsey, what are you seeing? Dorsey, matter of fact, we're not screwing this offense up. Right. What do you need?
Right.
You need some help. You're a quarterback. You need some help with the run game? What do you need? What kind of player do you want? Yo, who's my DC? Frazier. What do you need? Hands off, because y'all going to make me look real good.
Right.
I ain't doing jack, but y'all going to make me look sweet. and this is the thing. This is the second worst rated defense they've had under the McDermott regime. Only to the 2020 season, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
The second worst rated defense.
Who did we have on that 2020 team?
2020 on defense?
Yeah, I just want to see what the roster was.
That was what, Jerry Hughes? That was Jerry Hughes? Wasn't that what's the other guy? Addison, Hughes, Milano, Trey White, Hyde, Hoyer. I'm not being funny, but I can't remember his name. Levi Wallace.
I really forgot his name.
That
fast. Cut me deep. Oh my God.
No, I'm just, this is with the team.
Yeah.
I mean, and Tremaine Edmonds, Ed Oliver. I mean, come on now. On paper, this isn't a better defense.
Right.
Terrell Bernard, he runs Tremaine Edmonds under a table.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry Hughes is at least the same Von Miller, and you had 2 Jerry Hugheses in Mario Addison.
AJ Klein was a starter.
AJ Klein was a contributor.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, and this is okay. Okay, this is something that irked me all day, and I don't know why. Maybe because I'm a stats guy. I posted it last night, and it was refuted all day long. The Bills are 1-6 in overtime under Sean McDermott, not 0-6. Josh Allen is 0-6. Sean McDermott won one overtime game in 2017 against the Colts, a 13-17 game. He won one, so we are 1-6.
Is that the LaShawn McCoy game?
Might be. Yeah, might be. Because it was
Josh didn't play in that game?
No, it was 2017.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
it was
right.
17.
Yeah. That was the LaShawn McCoy game.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, it was a snow game or was it?
Yeah, it was like 4 feet
Yeah,
of snow out there.
Yep. Now, I just for giggles, the Raiders are 7-3 in overtimes in the same time span in 10 games. Tennessee 7-2 in the same time span. Green Bay 7-1 the same time span and 7-1-1.
Okay.
Kansas City 6-3. I mean, it's remarkable. Indy is 4-8. Who else was bad? Who else was bad? Baltimore, Indy, Seattle. But the point is, teams are going to the playoff. They're going to the overtime, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna win this game.
Right.
Instead, I gotta tweet out. I gotta text out. It's over with.
Right.
And if you're McDermott, obviously you don't scout because you would know I suck at overtime. Let me end the game. Let me try to end the game here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna volunteer to go to overtime by taking a knee and say whatever. Let's do it.
Right.
No. I'm trying to win now because I don't want to go to something I'm bad at.
But that's not the mindset of Sean McDermott.
Not at all.
Even in his press conferences, when you hear him talk, he says things like, it starts with me. I got to take a look at what I did. But then we fired Ken Dorsey. I got to take a look at what I did. I put Ken Dorsey in that position in the first place. I got to take a look at what I did. I fired a special teams coordinator when it was my defense that gave up the 13 seconds score to tie the game.
Not complimentary football.
Listen, that complimentary football BS is the same as the blue collar BS. Mm-hmm. It's just BS. Mm-hmm. Real quick, outside looking in says, how'd I just discover this channel, loving the content. And I guess to something we said, he said, preach. Thank you for joining the channel.
Man, thank you.
We love the comments. Keep coming back if you like what you heard.
Yes, indeed.
Locked Rain said, it's that beautiful prevent defense he likes to play.
Yeah.
You know what it is? The prevent defense for Sean McDermott looks like bending over and spreading his cheeks. That's what it looks like, basically. Like, all right, here it comes, guys. Bend over. Here it comes. No. Lean forward. Lean forward all the way. Grab your cheeks. No, you got all the way open. All right, gentlemen, here it comes.
Yep. That's
what it looks like.
I mean, I tweeted out yesterday, and while I have it up, let me tell you who. Matter of fact, let me read it first. I said, I demand the media hold him accountable. It's on me isn't good enough. We have known that forever. There were not plays we want back. We didn't fight hard enough. Doesn't cut it. This is damn bull jive. The gig is up.
Yeah.
I added WGR. I wanted somebody to see this so bad. I really wanted somebody to just think about it. You know, put that in their brain. Put that in their mind. Put him on the spot. Make him walk out of a press conference. Shut him down. I don't want to hear any more of that. You know, respectfully, I'm not going to go into that. Respectfully,
You want to hear an interesting stat?
What?
And I'm glad that you are saving Ken's ears from the naughty language. I have not been so good in this episode, but here's an interesting stat. Every single division leader in the league right now has an offensive-minded head coach. Every single one.
I believe that.
If you look at the standings, I'll read it off to you real quick. Let me see. All right, so the Dolphins lead our division, the Chiefs, Ravens, and Special teams coordinator is essentially offense for me because it's not defense. Jaguars, offensive-minded head coach, right? You go to the NFC, Eagles, 49ers, Lions, Falcons. Every last one of them, offensive-minded head coach, right? If you cannot read the writing on the wall as the owner of the Bills and look at what has taken the league by storm, which is offense, and make the, like, okay, Pagula, you don't have to do it right now, but you do have to do it after the season ends. Matter of fact, it would be great if you could preempt Black Monday by just doing it right after the game on Sunday. Like, immediately, as soon as the clock hits zeros, you don't even let Sean go out to the middle of the field to shake hands. You beat the other opposing head coach from Miami on the field and meet Sean McDermott in the middle of the field with the pink slip, and you are the guy that's shaking Sean McDermott's hand and escorting him out of the franchise, basically.
You want him to show up to the Dolphins game looking like Dorsey did.
That's exactly what I want. Yep. Terry Pagula needs to come out there in one of those golf carts and wave off Mike McDaniels. Like, no, don't come over here. He's not even a coach no more. I got this. And you got the pink slip with a pink flag flying on the back of the golf cart as you make your way to Sean McDermott to hand him your fired slip. Like, that's how it needs to happen. There's no more excuses. There's no other way that you can defend anything that this head coach does from here on out. Even if this team makes the playoffs, the only way that I think I could ever stomach seeing McDermott stay on this team next year is if they win a Super Bowl. And that is the longest shot in the world right now in terms of what Vegas is going to tell you.
And Sal Capaccio tweeted out earlier, those are the things that we're studying as of this morning and will continue to study as a staff. No one is as frustrated as I am. We're working hard to figure it out. Sean McDermott on why his team has lost close games. I'll read it again. Those are the things we are studying as of this morning and will continue to study as a staff. No one is as frustrated as I am. We're working hard to figure it all out. Your 14% chance of making it to the playoffs. You fired pretty much everybody you can fire. You've run off the rest of them. You got players. How are you going to get players to come to Buffalo? How is this a destination? There's a quarterback who makes $258 million who has his head in his hands at all times. There's a wide receiver who in the offseason, people, does he want to be there? There's defensive linemen fighting fans at the game yesterday. I mean, this is not discipline. Stop with the discipline. Stop with the humble and hungry. Just stop. Stop with all these cliches and coach a freaking football team. That's all I want. That's all I want for Christmas. Is this on? Pagula, can you hear me? Bean, can you hear me? All I want for this season to end, win, lose, or draw, is a team that has no cliches and makes no excuses. I don't even care if you lose or not.
Right.
Go out there, put it all out there as a team. Stop the divisive crap, because I said it a long time ago. When Von Miller, when they asked him about the whole Steph Diggs thing, I'm on Steph's side. Who's on the other side?
Sean McDermott.
Remember I said that?
Yeah.
Why is nobody catching this stuff?
Listen,
why is the media not asking these questions?
To be clear, just so everybody understands, Stephon Diggs' trainer is he was very clear. He was very clear. Diggs wants out of there.
Mm-hmm. And it's not the city. It's not the row. It's not the fans. It's not the money. It's one thing. It's the same thing. It's the same reason that Von Miller was going to come to Buffalo on our private jet and tell us thanks but no thanks. It's the same reason that Devin Singletary went somewhere else for less money and is a backup in Houston. The same reason Levi Wallace, we couldn't keep him. You sure about that? You sure about that?
Right.
I mean, we're not talking about high-end people. We're not talking about our top draft picks that are trying to get out here after their contract. These are guys that are mid-level at best, and they can't wait to get out of here. Not because Buffalo sucks. Even Shaq Lawson? He tweeted or something like that. Man, yo, Buffalo is you hop on the thing, 2 hours, you in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
People know this is a gateway to other things.
But now we know why Odell Beckham didn't want to come here, why Hopkins didn't want to come here.
Why Emmanuel Sanders didn't want to come here the first time. Or no, John Brown didn't want to come here the first time.
Yep. Why? Actually, I think Emmanuel Sanders the first time didn't want to come here because they tried. Yeah,
Cole Beasley left.
Antonio Brown didn't want to come here.
Antonio Brown didn't come here.
He had nobody who was looking for him at that point in time.
Nope.
I mean, all of this really comes down to two things. When the Patriots were winning with Tom Brady, everybody in the league knew how difficult it was to play for the Patriots.
Oh, yeah. They all said we hate it here, but
right.
we win.
But we're winning, right? That's not the case with the Bills.
Mm-mm.
We don't have any rings to flash at people who are doubting whether or not the culture works. We don't have any rings to flash at people who doubt whether or not the coach can actually get us to the next level, right? All we have is excuses and overtime losses and embarrassing losses. This 6-year period is full of more embarrassing losses than anything I remember seeing in the 20-year drought.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there for all of it.
Yeah, I was there too.
In those losses during the drought, it was clear. We didn't have the team to compete. We didn't have the money to compete. We didn't have the coaches to compete.
We didn't have anything. So
we
got
were
6-3 games to Cleveland where Derek Anderson went 2 of 21.
Yeah.
And beat us because Roscoe Parrish muffed a punt.
Right. Right. It was every fan in Buffalo crying out for a team that felt like it was part of the NFL at that point. Right?
That's why Mario Williams was so hyped. That's why he was so hyped.
Exactly. And then the Bengals help us out. We get into the playoffs, and since that point, it's been nothing but embarrassing losses on the biggest stages in the NFL.
Always.
And that's the part, like, we can't do this on a 1 o'clock game.
Right.
Like, we can't we can't have this game happen, on well, I guess the 1 o'clock games are the only ones that would ever get missed. But
right.
For a 4:25 game,
there's only one playing.
Was it the only one?
I think it was only one.
No, there was one other one that was playing, and they ended.
Was it on? No, was it on? It was on CBS.
No, we were CBS. Fox had the other one.
Oh, Fox had the other one.
Yeah, Fox had the other one, and who was it? I think it was Cardinals Rams.
Okay.
But that one ended early.
Oh
right?
No, I was just saying because sometimes the 425 there's only one on.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, now everybody's definitely watching us. And
Listen, by the end of the fourth quarter, everybody in the world was watching us.
Yeah, because the other games started at 4 o'clock.
Right. So again, all of this falls at the feet of Sean McDermott. Every single coaching hire, every single coaching fire, every single player picked, every single player benched, every single signing that the team has had. At some point, it all has to go through Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott was the one that was brought here first. He was given the ultimate power. Sean McDermott picked his GM. He handpicked his own GM. He went to Carolina, got Bean, brought him back. Subsequently, they brought several other players from Carolina with them over the years.
And coaching personnel.
And coaching personnel, right. But all of that starts with Sean McDermott. And every single time, you know what this is like? This is like, and I'm not a politician or anything like that, but or I should say I'm not a political person, but it's like the politician that gets up and just blatantly tells you, like, I'm spending your money for things that are pretty much ridiculous. But guess what? You're going to get taxed whether you like it or not, and I'm going to spend that money how I see fit. Vote me in again in another 2 years.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and nobody's going to get this because nobody from one of my jobs actually listens, I don't think. But my last boss was just like Sean McDermott. He had no real knowledge that would set him apart from his peers but he had the gift of gab. We called him a used car salesman. Actually, I started it. He's long since been fired. Because why? Because the person that he conned into doing his job for him went out on DBL. Because he was overworked, he stressed out and ended up with a health issue. So he had to go out. So now higher up is like, why is his work piling up? What's going on? So they come ask him the technical stuff. He has no freaking idea what they're talking about. From that, why is he doing that? Why is he doing this? And it's not me, and I'm not that guy. But why everybody knows it.
You snitched.
It's
you
right.
know it.
And just like that, I'm saying people that work there with me would think I'm the one that knows everything, and they do, which I don't, and I don't want to tell anybody else that.
Well, that's because you've been there for 40 years.
I've been there forever. Yeah, right. But
I've been there since the womb.
Right, and the thing is, if I'm building my own team, if I have one shot at this one in a 32 chance at getting a job, I am going to take anybody and everybody I can from a team that has done it.
Yeah.
A team that has at least been there.
Right.
A team that, I don't want the quality control guy from the Patriots. I don't want the executive assistant. I want the OC from a college program that's gone to a top bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Tangerine, whatever. I want that quarterback coach that turned Lamar Jackson from a run first only to a passing quarterback. Yep. This is how I build my team.
Right.
My team, not my players, my personnel that's going to help me develop my team and keep my job.
You know what's funny? The team that we can point to say has done that the most has been the Patriots. Mm-hmm. They've had several coaches leave that program and then try to pull players from that program to their team, and they all failed.
Yep.
But that's what you're saying is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to follow the model of success. It's one of the things that people in the know in the business world talk about all the time. That's how you develop success as a small business. You go and you study the people that are doing it and doing it well, and you do exactly what they do. Now, obviously, for your and I'm correlating business to sports, but for your particular business or your niche, you tailor certain things to your niche and your demographic and all that. Same thing for the Bills. Mm-hmm. We could have done that all these years, right? But the one thing that we decided to copy was the worst thing you could possibly copy, which was bringing a guy in, giving him all the power in the world, and then letting him build the team around culture. Because now we see what's happening in New England. That team has always been about culture, right? And we see now it was never culture that won them a damn game. It was Tom freaking Brady.
The thing that makes me laugh about New England is the fact that you can't point to one successful person who's left Brady's system. I mean, Dable, whatever. But McDaniel, Romeo Cornell, Charlie Weiss, Matt Patricia, they all suck when they leave Brady or leave Belichick. And
those coaches have been great in college.
They've been all right in college. But the thing is, to have the success, they thought, I can do this.
Yeah.
They go out and find out, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. And they go back. Because they seceded. They say, you know what? You're right.
Because they didn't have Tom Brady.
And they said, and they knew enough about it. If I want to feed my family, if I want to drive the Bentley I got to go back.
That's it.
And I'm going to stay there this time.
That's it.
Because they had the synergy. We ain't got this man's firing people. He's just replacing them with lesser talent.
Right.
You could have had it made. Dorsey wasn't going nowhere the first 2-3 years, probably. If he would have been a standout, put Joe Brady with him, put Cromer with him. They both have been OCs. They both have been run game, pass game coordinators.
I mean, Dorsey wasn't going to go anywhere if you hired Joe Brady last year and brought him in as the offensive.
That's what I'm saying. But instead, no. Let me just hang this man out to dry, so I have another scapegoat.
Yeah,
so I have another reason. And it's funny because I said that. Now I think about it, I said that one of our earliest episodes. I said, you know what? I said McDermott's not getting fired this year because I think that's when you first started. I said, I'll tell you who it is. It's going to be Dorsey. We ain't play a game yet. We didn't have training camp yet.
Yeah.
But I knew this dude was going to use all his excuses. I'm surprised Smiley's still here.
I mean, he can't. Again, I'm gonna say this again. He can't fire two coordinators within 3 years.
Right. But
he can't do it.
I'm just surprised.
On top of that, if he does that again, he's the guy who hired the special teams coordinator again. Like, how many times is he gonna indict himself for hiring these people in the first place?
Isn't an indictment when the judge is blind?
If I work at a job and I'm in charge of hiring people. And the people that I hire are stealing from the company. They're beating up clients. They're destroying company property. They're, misusing company cars and company funds and company materials and things like that.
Right.
At some point, my supervisor's got to come to me and say, what's going on with the people you are hiring?
But okay, this is kind of where I'm going now. What happens if your supervisor's in Fiji? They look at the bottom line and they say, 2020, we weren't great. We were okay. 2021, we weren't great. We're okay. 2020, 2023, a little fall off, but whatever. We're still fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in Fiji. Who's firing McDermott? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
So you're saying they got to get to McDermott first before they can fire him?
Pagula's got to open his eyes because you said it's an indictment, which is true. But who is indicting him? Ain't nobody there.
They can't even fire me until I get back to the country. So right. I don't know what they're going to do.
Pagula's that man is in Fiji, like just looking at paper. He's like, if I base this whole show on Pro Football Focus, I'd be praising Terrell Dodson for being the number 2 overall linebacker right now. I'd be praising Rasul Douglas for being the number 5 overall cornerback. I'd be excited because why aren't we winning all these games? I got all these top 5 players.
Right.
But when I open my eyes and I do what you call the eye test, it don't look as good.
No, not at all.
But when you go to traffic court and you stand there, you talk to the DA, we knocked you down to city noise or we knocked you down to whatever, and you go with your paper, you like, all right, cool. Where your honor go?
Right.
He ain't show up.
Right.
I'm off the hook.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening at One Bills Drive. That's what's happening down at Fountain, or what is it? Down at
One Fountain Plaza or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I meant.
Who cares?
I was trying to be sweet with it, but forget it. The point still stands. That's what's happening when your owner, who nobody can touch because he doesn't own it with anybody else. There's no checks and balances on his level.
Right.
When he says, I'm tired of it, I want Jesse Pagula to go win the Wimbledon, I'm going over there. Either I sell the team or somebody else runs it for me. But I don't care. Keep making my money.
Well, like we said last episode, we can't even trust the people that Terry Pagula puts in place to do that because they're going to have intercourse in the middle of the office floor. But anyway.
Producer taking his shirt off. He's ready to go. Oh, okay. Okay, it's just hot.
I got the heat off. I don't know why. It's probably that coffee.
It's got to be the coffee.
That coffee got his blood
coffee.
rushing. Oh, it's like fleecy on the inside?
No, it's the red Uggs.
It came at the Uggs. Oh, man. You going to get kicked in your chest after the episode.
You about to put it on me. You about to put it on me. This is supposed to be a serious show. We still found humor in it, so that's cool.
I mean, that's just who we are.
That's who we are. I mean, I was mad if y'all couldn't tell, but I'm fine now.
I can't wait to see how I started the show. I probably had the meanest, ugliest face ever.
Nah, you were good.
Yeah.
You were good.
Well,
I think I screamed in the microwave. The microphone. Somebody had to turn me down.
What?
I had to turn it down because I screamed in this thing a couple of times.
Oh, yeah, I did have to turn you down. You was speaking like a mug.
I know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the foresight. I didn't think you said, why are you speaking so low? I had to crank it up.
That's true. I said you were speaking too calm because you were there was too much.
It was coming. I was trying
emotional
to hold it in.
Control at that point.
I was trying to hold it in.
You
gave me permission. Permission.
Right. I had to give you time and floor.
Thanks.
And you had it.
Thanks, buddy.
Knocked it out the park.
Well, next week, not next week. Next show is going to be a good show. It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah.
We are going to be Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott.
Yep. We are going to look at do you want to do 24 and 25?
We'll see how it goes. We might be able to do it.
Okay. So for those of you who just tuning in, new to the channel, we complain a lot about the Bills, but I'm of the mindset of, I don't like to just complain. I like to offer solutions. Like when people talk about, okay, well, you fire Sean McDermott, who you going to hire? My two people right off the bat, Ben Johnson, and who was the other guy?
Slowick.
Bobby Slowick. And if you want to go research those guys, look them up and see, what they've done. There's plenty of tape on their offenses and how good they are. So those would be my number two candidates as far as who we would hire if the Bills decided if Pagula decided to fire Sean McDermott. But to the next episode that we're going to be doing, for all of the, tearing down that we want to do of what Sean McDermott has built here, we're going to offer ways to rebuild the team in the years 2024 and 2025. And we're going to help the team through their down year in 2024 when they're in cap jail. And, of course, rebuild the team to Super Bowl caliber in 2025 with I think it's almost $60 million of cap space they'll have going into 2025. And that's if they only, leave the roster as is in 2024 and don't make any further cuts or anything like that to open up more space. So let me get this music going. Do you have anything else before we get out of here?
I'm good. I spoke my piece. I spoke my piece.
All right. It seems like we come back down to earth.
Actually, you know what? I'm just happy. I'm ecstatic. I'm elated to have even one person, find out about us. Like I said, it's not about anything but just trying to build a different culture, built by the fans. As this goes, I had interaction with the people that interact with us on the Facebook page all day long. I mean, to the point where I almost didn't do any work, and I don't really care. Everything got done.
Right.
But that's why we're here. We want to take our text messages and put them out, and make it personal so you guys know who we are and know, we're not just some guys, some internet tough guys. We put our mics where our mouths are.
No doubt. My address isn't anywhere on our social media pages, but if you need to meet me in person to see how serious I am, let me know. Put it in the comments and we'll work something out.
Oh,
before
on a serious note, you just reminded me. Stop taking this so seriously, and I'm not even joking right now because people are not you. People are now sharing Sean Hockey's home address.
Oh yeah, y'all gotta stop that.
They gotta chill on that because one or two things can happen. One, they're going to find out who you are, and two, something happened to them, and you have a paper trail.
Exactly.
You put it on social media with somebody's address. This is the second time this season because the other one, I forgot who the other one was, but I said it. I
something
tweeted
did
before.
happen the last time they did that.
Well,
when they posted somebody's address, I think somebody did do something to the house or vandalize it or something like that.
This season?
No, I don't think it was this season.
No,
it was
this
like
season.
Last season.
This was this season. Somebody else did.
Really?
Yeah, they did it earlier this season.
Wow.
So stop it. It's not cute. It's not funny. Give it up. And if you guys know somebody, please be an adult. Go in their section and say, "Yo, chill. Take this down. This ain't what it is," because that pisses me off.
Yeah.
It really does. Because I got a kid at home.
Yeah.
If you want to piss me off, mess with them. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to see it no more. If I lose followers behind it, I really don't care. Because there's a fine line behind what's right and what's wrong, and that's completely off base.
Man, to be clear, there's a difference between Keyshawn's sports madness and Keyshawn's serious madness. This was serious. Don't mess with the dude. Don't mess with the dude. Okay. If there's nothing else.
I'm good.
Okay.
Cue it up. Cue it back up.
There's the music, which means I got a minute and a half to get us out of here. I just want to thank everybody who has commented. Locked Rain, thank you so much for commenting. You've been real consistent. Keep it going. Outside looking in, again, welcome to the channel. Keep commenting. Any questions that you got, go check our other episodes out. We dive deep into what's going on with the Bills from beginning to end. There's a lot of different, insider, information and stuff that we have. I got sources inside the building. With that being said, we just want to continue to thank everybody who's been tuning in and sticking with us. These live views have just been consistently growing. Viewership has been consistently growing. This is what we're here for. If we could do this show every single day and give you more and more content, that's what we would be here doing. For that to happen, you got to subscribe, you got to follow, you got to do all that stuff so that we can get to that point where we're able to, sustain and doing this every single day. With that being said, this has been one of the top episodes, in my opinion, of the entire time that we've been doing the show. But we're gonna go back to all truth, no sodium next episode. So
I think it was all truth. I ain't seen no sodium.
No, I was salty as all get out.
Oh, I wasn't. I was being real.
I'm already gonna have to restart the music. But anyway, so now I got another minute and a half. Let's see if we can make it through. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you so much. Please, we're on Facebook. Keyshawn is on Twitter. The link for his Twitter, you put it in the comments?
Yeah,
how you want to do that? Okay. So the link for Keyshawn's Twitter will be in the comments. You can hit him there. You can hit us up on our Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. We're still in the process of populating that. We are on Spotify for those of you that like to hear us on the go and don't have the YouTube version where you can listen to stuff even when the phone is off. Anyway, hit us up in any way, shape, form possible. Leave questions. We'll answer them on the show, all that kind of stuff. For the Post Podium Podcast, I have been your co-host, Aramis.
And this is at HAMM84K716 on X. And my name is Keith.
There you have it. Post Podium Podcast. Tune in for the next show. We're going to be rebuilding the Bills 2024, 2025. And we are out.
Peace.